Hey fellas, we're making our way to the end of our tests. The goal of this lesson is to introduce you to the WordPress unit test. So, what is this unit test? The simplest answer is that it's an XML file that you install in your WordPress. Within this XML, there's a series of contents for you to test against your theme. Inside this content, you have posts, pages, menus, images, but a good part of this content consists of edge cases made to test how your theme behaves in very unusual situations. For example, how your theme looks like with posts that have big titles, or with a post that has no title, with a big menu with several levels. Anyway, your theme has to be able to pass this test. In this page, you have all the instructions you need to follow when testing the content. There are several instructions on what to do, of different ways to configure your WordPress installation or your theme to see how the content is displayed on it. The content itself also has instructions, as you'll see later. As you may be wondering, the theme we've built so far seems quite complete, but it will certainly suffer a bit because the tests are really quite complete. We have a lot of things to fix before sending the theme to WordPress.org. Along with the WordPress unit test, we'll also test the widgets. By now you may have noticed that we've created the sidebars in our theme, but we don't have a lot of content inside them. The purpose of this testing phase is also check how your theme handles the widgets, at least the main WordPress widgets. For this purpose, there is a special plugin which we will also test, which helps us style the widgets. Let's take one thing at a time. First, let's install the WordPress unit test. We right-click here and download this file. Here in our installation, we go over to Tools, Import, WordPress. We want to run the importer. We choose the file we downloaded. Click here on this blue button. I can leave these settings the way they are, but I have to click here on Download and Import File Attachments. This will import multiple images along with the content. It is very important to download this media too, okay? Otherwise, your test will not be complete. I click here, and I'll finish the process. That's it. This message is coming up. It means it's over. Now, if I look here at the posts and pages table, you see that a lot of content has been imported. Here under media, we also have more images. There are several comments too. We have new users. And here too, in the menu manager, you'll notice other menus that have been created by the importer. All this is test material, right? Much of it, like the posts, is already showing up on the front end. But let's see what the documentation is telling us. Adjust WordPress settings as follows. First, under Settings, General, they're asking you to set the title and the tagline to something fairly long to see how the theme handles these values. So let's go. I'll go ahead and copy some dummy text first. Now to do this test, it will be better if I deactivate the logo for a moment. So let's go to the customizer and see what happens. I'm gonna paste the text here. I'm gonna remove the logo. Refresh the page. Let's face it, it got pretty ugly. Probably no one is going to put a huge name like this on the website, but it's a valid test. I believe that the goal here is that the layout doesn't break with a very large text, or that the text doesn't exceed the area assigned to it. I believe I'll only know this for sure when the theme goes through the review process. Maybe it will be more interesting if I could center this whole area here. That's very simple. For example, if I add here in the row two classes called dflex and align item center, we can easily solve this problem. Let's replicate the modification into our header.php file. We're gonna paste the code here, save the file. Okay, now it's still weird, but at least the content is centered. I believe this should be enough because there are some themes published in the WordPress theme directory doing the same thing. In fact, a valuable tip that I can give you is check how the native themes or other themes deal with the same type of testing. This is quite easy. Just click here on this button next to the theme name and temporarily switch themes. You can test with the themes you already have installed, like the native themes, or even download other themes from the repository. My tip is to download some theme that looks a little bit like yours, especially in the region you want to test. For example, I'm going to download a theme called Dentist Business. Let's install and activate this theme. This is what I mean. Look, apparently it deals with long titles the same way we do. And this theme is already approved and published, so we can serve as a guide. Let's get back to our theme. And let's go to the next instruction. You have to go over to Settings, Reading, and change the number of posts per page to 5. This is to ensure that your theme works properly with pagination. I'm going to skip this test because we've already done that and we've seen that the pagination works on all the pages where it is needed. The next two instructions are all about comments. First, you have to test the threaded comments. WordPress wants to know how your theme looks like when it has many comments and they have multiple levels. Let's go over here to Settings, Discussion, and here we've changed to at least 3 levels. And the next instruction tells you to enable break comments into pages. So you have to leave only 5 main comments per page. As we have a copy of the WordPress comments.php file, we won't have many problems with that. To test this, I suggest you open one of the posts that have been imported. If I open up the blog, let's look for a post that has been imported called Template Comments. So in my case, it's here on page number 8. As I told you, inside the post itself, you already have instructions on how to run the tests. We'll be doing 2 of them right now. First of all, you must have already seen that the look of the comments is quite decent. This is not magic. It's just we've already styled the form using CSS back in the lesson about the comment form. Do you remember? If yours isn't showing up like this, please copy the updated CSS and you're good to go. First, let's see if you have 5 comments per page. 1. These ones don't really count because they are answers to this first main comment here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We have a link to go to the next comments page. Let's see if it's working. Perfect. We are on the second page. Here we got more comments. In fact, very strange comments. The goal here is that they want you to use CSS to style everything you got here too. All these elements must be styled correctly, right? Maybe your theme visitor will want to write content like this and your theme must handle them. It's not a big deal, although it seems like it is. So we passed the checklist so far. The settings we made in the installation, all of them are working. The content inside the comments is another issue, okay? We'll be handling it later. One more test. Here they want you to go over to Settings, Media, and delete all the values for each image size. This is to test if the theme's content width is working. However, if you're creating your theme to work with the latest WordPress versions, you don't really need to do anything like that. The last one in this list, go over to Settings, Permalinks, and change the type of permalink on your site. Let's change it then. I'm gonna delete this value here. And I'm gonna set this to category name and post name. Let's check if the theme is still working. And everything is fine. Everything is working. Okay, that's enough for this lesson. In the next one, we'll be following the next instructions. So, until then.